John was in grade 7, old enough to notice when things were wrong, but still too young to understand why adults pretended everything was fine. Their flat in Lagos was never truly quiet. The ceiling fan groaned like an old man, and the walls always seemed to hold echoes of hurried footsteps. Every morning, his mother, Mrs. Chooks, rushed through the house with her phone passed to her ear, her blouse half buttoned, her mind already at work long before she left home. "Read your books," she would say, grabbing her bag. "Your lesson teacher will come." Then the door would close and the house would feel empty again. John's father, Mr. Chooks, stayed home more often these days. He was always around when Miss Sarah came for lessons. At first, it felt normal. Miss Sarah was young, polite, and always smiling. She smelled faintly of perfume and carried her books like teaching was the most important thing in the world. They studied mathematics at the dining table while the afternoon sun crawled slowly across the tiled floor. Sometimes, Miss Sarah laughed softly at John's mistakes. Sometimes, his father stood nearby, pretending to read a newspaper but listening closely. Over time, things began to change. Miss Sarah stayed longer than before. Lessons that should end by 5 stretched into evening. When rain fell, she waited it out. When darkness came, she didn't rush home anymore. John noticed the way his father's voice softened when he spoke to her, the way they shared looks that felt secret, the way their conversations dropped into whispers whenever he came too close. John did not know what it meant, but he knew it was not right. One night, his mother came home earlier than usual. The house was unusually quiet. She asked where his father was, and John answered without thinking, his voice innocent and clear. "He is with Miss Sarah." The words landed heavily in the room. That night, the truth revealed itself without mercy. Mrs. Chooks stood outside her bedroom door and heard laughter that did not belong in her home. Words followed, soft, intimate words about loneliness, about feeling alive again. When she opened the door, the silence that followed was louder than shouting. Betrayal stared back at her from her own bed. Anger erupted like a storm. Accusations flew. Miss Sarah tried to explain. Her husband, Mr. Chooks, tried to calm things down, but calm had already left the house. John stood at the doorway, confused and frightened, watching his parents become strangers before his eyes. Neighbors gathered, whispers spread. Miss Sarah walked away in tears, her books clutched tightly, her reputation unraveling with every step. Mr. Chooks followed soon after, not immediately, but eventually. Some homes do not collapse in one day. They crack slowly until there is nothing left to hold together. In the days that followed, silence became John's new companion. His mother moved through the house like a shadow, strong but wounded. One evening, he asked the question that had been burning inside him. "Will Daddy come back?" Mrs. Chooks pulled him close, holding him the way she should have held the family long before things fell apart. "Some lessons," she said softly, "are not taught in school." At school, John sat in class and stared at the board as his teacher spoke about life and learning. He listened, but his mind wandered. Childhood had slipped away quietly, replaced by understanding that came too soon. He had learned his most important lesson, not from books, but from watching the people he trusted most break something they could not fix. And every afternoon, when school ended, John walked home knowing that some lessons follow you long after the teacher leaves. That brings us to the end of the story. Did you learn anything from it? Let us know in the comments. Also, Do well to subscribe to this channel for more interesting African stories.